Peace and blessings and keep up the lessons. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You know who this is? Brother Talib from the Brother Talib Show, aka Crypto B-Boy on that end of the Crypto B-Boy segment of things. But hold on for a second. Let me just click this off. Sorry. Come on now. All right. Sometimes that happens. You know, you get some disturbance. I'm going to just turn down my volume so we don't have no problems with that anymore right now. But pretty much what I'm here today, going to try to get into some stuff dealing with faith, of course. And this is my religious segment, and I'll be touching base on subject matter such as Tawheed and Shirk. So get in with me, stay with me, and listen in. All right, you ready? Let's get it. Are you ready? Let's get it. Alrighty then. So I'm here. Bismillah wa salatu salam Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ajma'een. Yeah, I'm back. So pretty much in opening up, that's the opening, trying to get, bring praises and thanks and salutations on the Prophet and his family and his companions and so forth. I mean, and seeking refuge in Allah only. So basically, what I'm here to do is to get into a little more in depth, because I've done videos prior to this that was dealing with Tawheed and Shirk, and I also did my lives. I had a few people who came on, those who came and attended. I haven't been, and I apologize for those of you who are still watching and still with your brother. I appreciate your support and those who have helped me to build up some of my subscriptions. Please don't forget to subscribe again, to your brother and everything. I try to do my best by everybody, and hopefully, you can get into what I'm doing and listen in and not be biased because you might be of a different faith or what have you, but listening to get a different understanding about what is important to you about faith and in the Creator. Now, if you're an atheist, I understand, okay, you don't believe in the Creator at all. So this is not for you. That's understood. But still listen in if you're an open-minded atheist and you would like to know the concepts and understandings of what you might have not learned, and that took you to being an atheist. Because most families brought up in the West were based in, grew up in religious households, especially in the West and European influence over the world or the Western world was Christianity. And we know the history of that. Not going to get into that too much. Of course, we dealt with and expansion, imperialism of colonialization, and even slavery from Africa to here. And it was forced upon them to only believe in their understanding and their version of what they perceived Jesus, or the son of Ibn Miriam, the son of Mary, as we know him, and he was a prophet, but they perceived him as such, as where my point and my narrative is basing the shirk and in joining partners with Allah. They started to, this was the European version and understanding. And not all of them, because some Europeans did have some of the original teachings that they incorporated, but they might have been small groups and they never really were able to, express it, because the mainstream understanding of that was forced upon them by the sword. Yes, conquest and conquering, and the Nicene Creed was the first step. But I'm not here to get into that. That's dealing with Isa alayhi salam, with Jesus, son Ibn Miriam, son of Mary, dealing with his history and then how people went from the monotheistic teachings of who he was and what he came with. His message was monotheistic based, and belief in the Creator and God, and he never portrayed himself to be God on this earth or any of that, or the Son of God either. Neither. But later on, it came to be known. It got forced upon, and then later on, people grew up into it in generation and just accepted it, because of their parents were upon it, because of their grandparents who maybe have even raised them in their households, and they loved them, so they followed it and they stayed with it, and they see that it's more comfortable for them, especially as time's going on, where people's value systems have weakened, and nobody really doesn't want to live a life where they have to be, rigid in a rigid, strict religious setting. People want to be free to however they want to implement what they believe in, or even if it's not true, even if it's not based on true evidence, clear evidence. Okay, so I try to come with clear evidence, and me, I'm not a scholar, so don't think of me as such. I'm not even a high level student of knowledge. I've treaded the path of talab al-ilm, student of knowledge, to a small extent in Egypt for a little while, but I never completed what I needed to complete to be at the level that I can even say that I'm just a student of knowledge and I'm trying to disseminate knowledge that I've learned from the ulema, from the scholars. So don't put me in any of those positions. I'm just a brother, layman brother, who got some knowledge, a little bit, and I read books, and I take from the ulema, I take from the major scholar, the Kabir ulama, I take from the top or major students of knowledge on down to the ones that are even still above me as far as their level of knowledge that can help me and teach me, and I take some of that knowledge. Like I have my book here with my notes and from my class, one of my classes that I sat with one of the brothers, and in English, of course, it was of course spoken, and I learned some of the stuff about who I'm going to speak on right now. So basically, let's get into it. I'm going to be going through Shaykh Fawzaan's book, the Book of Tawheed. Okay, and this is a great book. You should purchase it. Shaykh Salih Al Fawzaan, and Hafidhullah, he's still alive. He's still living in Saudi Arabia and residing there, and he's still doing his works and talks when he can. He's pretty old, and may Allah preserve him. But he still is around with us, and we hope to continue to benefit from him. I mean, so, but this is the first chapter in the book, and I'm going to get into where it says, and I read some of this, but I'm going to read as much as I can, as quick as I can. Some of the Arabic I will try to recite because it's the Quran, and these are verses, and I kind of still stumble with the language, so I don't want to read stuff that's too large and take too long, because I don't want to make errors without correcting them. So it can take time. So I don't want to really be reading and stumbling if it's too much for me to handle. But some I will read for you. Okay, so inshallah. This is the first chapter, Perversion in Human Life. Allah has created the creatures to worship Him and provided them with provisions to enable them to do that. Allah, the Exalted, says, oh wow, I forgot. I got to put my glasses on. Yeah, these older eyes, 53 years old in my age that I just reached in January of the 4th. Alhamdulillah, mashallah. So it says, the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ إِنَّ وَإِنسَانَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. And I'll read that part first in English translation. And I have created jinn and men alone to worship me, Allah, right? ما أريد منهم من رزق وما أريدنا يطعموني إن الله هو رزقند, right? القواتي al-mateen, right? Saying, I want no sustenance from them, nor do I want them to feed me, because Allah is beyond that. You understand? Surely it is Allah who is the provider, the powerful. Now, this is important because I'm bringing this out is because of these times today has to be spoken on. What people put trust in, what people put their focus in their life in, and usually is mostly desires now today in these times. There's different nations and times and eras in how people partnered up, made partners with Allah as far as what they focused on that was coming to them of provision as Allah mentions it, He's the provider. Provisions come from the provider. And there's only really one true provider, Ar-Razak. As it says right here, it says Ar-Razakudu, Ar-Razakudu, right? From is deriving from his attribute, Ar-Razak, the provider, okay, in the English translation. And the powerful, Al-Mateen, that's his other attribute. He's the only true powerful one. He created the universe, the earth, everything, and he can take it out. He can take it out of existence. He put it in existence, and he has the power to take it out of existence. This is only the understanding, one of the understanding aspects of Al-Mateen, of the powerful one, that I've learned, and most Muslims learn. There's other aspects of what he deals with his power, and then there's some that he has not revealed to us. And only the things that we know is what he revealed to us from the Quran, and even before that in the Torah when he spoke to Musa or Moses. Before that when he spoke to Ibrahim, you understand? And he spoke to Isa, Jesus, when Jesus was around for the time before they tried to kill him, and Allah took him up, okay? And Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Islam, the Quran. This is what it is, okay? So, and then continue. Man naturally, this is the Shaykh talking, man naturally acknowledges Allah's divinity, loves him, worships him, and ascribes no partner to him. But human and jinn devils who suggest to each other polished speech out of deception, lies. This is going on today. You have this in social media. You have this on screen in shows. People bringing lies to you when it comes to, I mean, even when you watch the Marvel movie Thor, the Asgardians, they're gods in the sense. You know, this is batil. This is falsehood. You have when they talk about in the Marvel comics and any of the DC's comics, they talk about these high powerful beings that are cosmic, right? Falsehood. They don't exist. We look in reality. That's just like how they say they made Santa Claus when the Christmas passed, right? Xmas and Santa Claus, an imaginary person. I mean, based on a true person that existed that was like a devil, a human devil, when they come to know, who they took the pagan, heritage or the pagan background, that foundation, they based it on this human being, this man that was like a god, a devil god. You understand what I'm saying? It's crazy. But the same with what's going on with these people creating these false partners, as it says, deception, corruption in his natural disposition. So mankind, that's why this the same perversion in human life. It came about. Man originally was created to be Muslim, to submit to Allah, to believe in only one deity worthy of worship. Okay? And lead him, and this deception led them astray from that. Led them astray from their natural disposition, as we call the fitrah, right? That's the Arabic. And then he says, Tawheed is firmly instilled in human nature. You see what I'm saying? Monotheism, Islamic monotheism, pure monotheism, uncorrupted monotheism. And monotheism really isn't corrupted, but the understanding of it, the truth of it, was pushed to the back, and falsehood of polytheism, that they tried to put a cover of monotheism over with the name or the person that they was basing it on, because he was a prophet of monotheism, and they put the cover over to say this is monotheism, when it's truly polytheism with a cover of monotheism. That's what I'm saying. Monotheism, true monotheism, was pushed to the background, and you find in some parts of even the understanding of the faith that based it on these teachings, and without saying who it is, because I'm not here to go up against any. In this video, I'm not here to go up against any faiths. I will later on get into comparisons of the faith, comparative, discussion or commenting commentary on the different faiths that portray or say that they are monotheistic. But some have lost the monotheistic guidance, the true way and following of it. Some of the peoples might still practice like one, like Judaism, but others, okay. So anyway, and now it says in this is one of Allah's statements. So firmly instilled, as it to continue and finish, firmly Tawheed is firmly instilled in human nature, while polytheism is accidental and intrusive. Allah says, فَإِكِهُمْ وَجْهَكَ لِلْدُنِّي hanifan, okay, fitrata Allahi lati fatara ansa alayha tabdila لخلق Allahi. So, and says, and remain steadfast on the deen of Hanifan. And this is what I'm going to read here from one of my notes. The history of Ibrahim alayhi salam, the land of Ur was located in an ancient land or region known as Mesopotamia, where the land of Ur was near Babylon. Okay, Babylon was a city and a place like we know today. In these times, even the Rasta, they say Babylon, right? But they're referring to the way of the life that was there in Babylon, ancient Babylon, and these people were very, very, loose and sinful in their way, and they were polytheist, and they had, practices of secret arts, practices of different types of mixtures of things. They just did anything. They were desire worshippers there too then, as they are today, more today, unfortunately. Now, okay, but that where Abraham or Abraham, right, traveled between Babylon, Mary, Haran, Damascus, Shechem, Jerusalem, Beersheba, which is now known as the Suez Canal area. All right. So this is the areas that he was in. So he was in the areas of those people who were polytheists. He was amongst the people who were not monotheist at nature. At the time, they were not, So he was up against a lot of stuff that he had to deal with, and his father included in his life and his story. So his travels were in line with his faith-giving path. And this is where the word Hanifan comes, because he was like his own community of mankind that he developed a devoted relationship with while he was in those midst of the land of Ur. He had this relationship developed with Allah. There is no clear records from any main sources found that where he went, he conquered and forced his belief on pure monotheism on people. No, he didn't do that neither. And then some people this is those who are anti-Abrahamic faith people, atheists especially, people who are into other faiths that are not of, monotheism. They try to say that how the Abrahamic faiths have been, warmongers or people who brought destruction to people that was of different faiths. No, that's not how it started. The proof, recorded, documented proof. Do you have that? Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is one of the debaters. Yeah, Abraham didn't even have a kingdom like a king or ruler. He was given a nickname by the Creator called Hanifan, which means a pure monotheist community, or he was considered to be the personification of monotheism. You see what I'm saying? He was his own community. And that's where that comes from, Hanifan, where Allah, this nickname Allah placed in the Quran, right? The faith with which Allah created mankind. he gave this faith to Ibrahim. Allah knows all things. He's Al-Alim. He's all-knowing. So his knowledge, he gave this to Ibrahim, one of his other prophets that he made him to be, with guidance. The guidance is the Creator's guidance. True guidance, I should say, is the Creator's guidance, because he's giving you an awakening in the knowledge of your surroundings, of your life, and how you're supposed to live this life, because he gave it to you. That's where he put that little computer chip of monotheism in his computer, us. I'm using that term, right? That kind of symbolic way. Inert nature within us, as they say, Tawheed, as the Shaykh says, Tawheed. So I would like to leave off from there. I'm going to do one more video to finish up from what I was reading at. And, we'll go from there. But really, real quick, I would like to speak on the part of what the Prophet ﷺ said. He says, Kuli maulidi, mauludin, right? You'll do a'la fitrati fa'abahu weednihi aw yusarinihi aw yumajsanihi. Okay? Every infant is born with an inert disposition, but it is his parents who make him a Jew or a Christian or Magan, which is like a fire worshiper. Hence the Tawheed, or the belief in the oneness of Allah, is man's innate belief. Meaning even when you're born an infant, it's there. It's there. The infant may not know it because the infant is not at that level of intellect that they can understand who they are, why they're even there. No, but the inner nature is like that he has no choice but to submit to Allah. He's a Muslim. Automatically, Allah is the provider. Even if it's the mother's milk is the first thing that is providing his nutrients that he needs to survive. That's why they cry, because they're hungry, or they're removing their waste. And that bodily function, they can't control it. It's natural. This is what Allah created it to be. And as they get older and their mind develops, they start to learn who they are and why they're here, basically. And it depends on the parent that they're growing up with, okay? As it says, parents who make him other than a monotheist or following the monotheistic faith and the true monotheistic understanding of what we know in Islam. And it's Tawheed. So I will leave it there, brothers and sisters. Jazakumullah khairan, peace and blessings. Keep up the lessons. Until the next one, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button with your brother. And its subscription doesn't cost any money. It helps me get to that mark. When I get to that mark of 1,000, then I can provide more content. I can do, because I do other talks. I don't just deal with religion. Some of you are anti-religious, some of you are atheists, some of you are not Muslim, and you choose to follow your way and you choose to take from what you want to take from me. That's fine. Do that. Don't be standoffish like I'm going to harm you. I'm going to help you to understand another side of things in life. And it's the Muslim side. It's the Muslim perspective. It's Islamic perspective. You should have all perspectives. I even know about Satan worshipers. I've studied about them. I've learned that's perspective. They're the opposite of us. I've learned about paganism. I've learned about atheism. I've learned about other religions. So there's nothing wrong as long as you build a foundation on what you believe in your faith, which is a Tawheed as a Muslim, for the Muslims I'm speaking. And if you're in belief in your faith that whatever is other than Islam, then if your foundation is firm and strong, then you shouldn't have nothing to worry about. And that's it. All right, so take care. Thank you. Until next time, peace and blessings. Keep up the lessons. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhanakallah hamdihi ashhadu wa la ilaha anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Bye bye now.